Hello guys, welcome to our channel Last Minute Electrical. This is the second lecture on control system 2. Okay, as I told you, the control system syllabus of control system 2 is divided into 3 parts, out of which module 2 I am discussing in these lectures. Okay, so analysis of discrete time system using jet transform is the module 2 which I am discussing in these lectures. So in this lecture I am going to discuss Nyquist-Shannon sampling theorem, anti-aliasing filters, relation between Laplace and jet transforms, and ROC, that is region of convergence. So first is Nyquist-Shannon sampling theorem. So what is sampling theorem? Sampling theorem states that the sampling rate should be at least twice the frequency of the input signal. Okay, now if you remember what I told you in first lecture, that in my first lecture I have already told you a sampler can be replaced by a train of unit impulse. I told you. Okay, so if you multiply this signal with the input signal, this train of unit impulse with the input signal, if you multiply these two, you will get the output like this. Okay, so what is sampling frequency? Sampling frequency is, if you see the train of unit impulse, t is the time period. You can clearly see t is the time period. So sampling frequency is 1 by t. Okay, and fm is the maximum frequency present in the message or input signal. So if this is your input signal and the maximum frequency is fm, the maximum frequency component is fm. See, any input signal may be consist of more than one signal, okay, out of which the maximum frequency suppose fm. Okay, so according to sampling theorem, fs should be greater than or equal to 2 into fm. Okay, that is sampling frequency must be greater than or equal to twice of the maximum frequency present in the input signal. Okay, so this is the sampling theorem. So what is the use of sampling theorem? While we see, if in my first lecture I told you, we convert the analog signal into digital signal by using three method: sampling, quantization and coding, that I have already discussed in my first lecture. And then we have to reconstruct that digital signal into analog signal before we give it to the plant. So if you successfully recover that signal, in that digital signal into analog signal, then sampling rate should be greater than or equal to the maximum frequency present in the input signal. Okay, that means for some successful reconstruction, your sampling frequency must be twice of the maximum frequency present in the input signal. Okay, here the input signal is fe. Okay, this is the sampled signal. Okay, f star t. Now if you see here, for example, if you want to reproduce a signal of 20 kilohertz, okay, you must at least make 40001 samples per second. Okay, it means at least your sampling frequency must be equal to 40 kilohertz or greater than equal to 40 kilohertz if you want to successfully reproduce a signal having frequency 20 kilohertz. Okay, this is one example. Now what is anti-aliasing filter? Okay, see, during reconstruction, if your sampling frequency is not greater than or equal to maximum frequency present in the input signal, then what will happen? Aliasing effect may arise during reconstruction. Okay, so what is aliasing effect? That actually not in your syllabus, I am not going to discuss it here, but aliasing effect is a problem during reconstruction, okay, which can be eliminated if you sample your input signal at a rate twice of the frequency present in that input signal. Let us take an example. See, suppose the sampling frequency here is 20 hertz. Okay, now your input frequency, the input signal frequency, maximum input signal frequency must have 10 hertz. Okay, because if your input frequency is 11 hertz, you cannot successfully reconstruct this signal later because your sampling frequency is 20 hertz. Okay, so for that, what you will do, if your input frequency has any component which has frequency 11 hertz, 12 hertz or 13 hertz or anything, what you will do, you will pass this input signal through a low pass filter of cutoff frequency 10 hertz. Clear? So that your all the other frequency component which are greater than 10 hertz can be eliminated. Okay, so you will use a low pass filter, so all the frequency component in the input signal which are greater than 10 hertz will be eliminated. Why we are doing this? Because from the previously we already know that our sampling frequency is 10 hertz, sampling frequency is 20 hertz. That is why the maximum frequency in the input signal has to be 10 hertz. So if there is any component of frequency in the input signal which is greater than 10 hertz, then we have to cut it off using low pass filter. Okay, so your low pass filter has to have the cutoff frequency 10 hertz. Okay, so that we can eliminate the aliasing effect. Okay, so this is written here. Alternatively, the maximum allowable frequency of the input signal should be less than or equal to half of the sampling frequency. What I told you, if the sampling frequency is 20, then input signal frequency is 10, that is half of the sampling frequency, maximum allowable frequency. How can you do that? By using a low pass filter having cutoff frequency 10 hertz. This is just an example. Okay, so otherwise what will happen? Otherwise aliasing effect may come during signal reconstruction. Okay, so to eliminate the aliasing effect, we place a low pass filter before input signal so that maximum frequency can be passed according to sampling rate. According to sampling rate means if your sampling rate is 20 hertz, then your maximum frequency which will pass is 10 hertz. Okay, so as this filter is actually eliminating aliasing effect, so this low pass filter is known as anti-aliasing filter. Okay, now relation between jet Laplace and jet transform. This is the second topic that I am going to discuss in this lecture. Relation between Laplace and jet transform. You already know, if you have shown in my previous lecture, I told you z is equal to e to the power ts, that you already know. So if you replace s is equal to what? Sigma plus j omega, you already know. So z is equal to e to the power t sigma plus e to the power j t omega. Okay, so this can be e to the power t sigma can be write as r e to the power j omega. So if you see this, z is equal to r e to the power j omega, it means z is nothing but a circle having arbitrary radius r. Okay, and it is moving from 0 to 360 degree. See, z is actually a circle in the jet plane having radius r. Okay, and it is moving from 0 to 360 degree. Clear? So different value of z, z1, z2, z3 means different value of r1, r2, r3, that means different radius, but all of them are representing circle of different radius, that is r1, r2, r3. That means z in jet plane, z variable is nothing but a circle of different radius. Okay, this is the relation between z and Laplace transform. Now what is ROC? What is ROC in jet transform? See, this is very important topic that I am going to discuss in this lecture. See, first you have to know this is the infinite GP series. If the first term of GP series is A and the common ratio is R, then in case of infinite GP series, the total sum is A by 1 minus R, that I already know, and your common ratio should be mod of r should be less than 1. Only then this summation can exist, because you can see here, if r is greater than 1, then suppose the value of r is 2, that is greater than 1, then what will happen? A into 2, a into 4, after that a into 8. In this way the summation will diverge. Okay, but if r is less than 1, suppose it is 0.2, then what will happen? Here r is 0.2, here r is 0.04. So it means what? The summation is converged. So what we can say, for r less than 1, this infinite GP series converges, and the summation is actually a by 1 minus r. So this is only valid when common ratio r is less than 1. Okay, now if you go through my previous lecture, you can clearly you should know that the Z transform of any signal is k equal minus infinity to infinity x of k into z to the power minus k, that I already told you, xz is equal to. Okay, so here what I am taking an signal, I am taking a signal, this is a to the power n un. Okay, you can replace n by k also, n or k are same. Okay, sometime it is, I can write as n, sometime it is written as k, which both are same. All these two are representing a discrete signal, discrete sequence. Okay, okay, now see, xn is equal to a to the power n un is the signal. Okay, now this is a signal. Now clearly this is a right sided sequence. Okay, why it is a right sided sequence? Because we already know un is exist only on the right hand side, okay, of 0, including 0. Okay, including 0, un is only exist in right hand side. Okay, so you can blindly apply the Z transform formula, n equal minus infinite to infinite xn z to the power minus n. This is actually the Z transform of xn. This is actually the Z transform of xn. So xz is equal to what? N equal minus infinite to infinite xn z to the power minus n. Okay, so in place of xn, what we can write? The signal a to the power n un z to the power minus n, n equal minus infinite to infinite. Okay, so as un is the right sided sequence, so what we can write? N equal 0 to infinite a to the power n z to the power minus n. See, the actual formula is n equal minus infinite to infinite. While you are performing Z transform, the actual formula is n equal minus infinite to infinite, but un is the right hand sequence, right hand side sequence, but right side sequence. So what I write? N equal 0 to infinite. Okay, and we get rid of the part un. Okay, now you can write n equal 0 to infinite a z inverse to the power n. Okay, so this is the infinite GP series. If you expand this, what you will get? 1 plus az inverse plus az inverse square up to infinite. Okay, you can write the summation as 1 by 1 minus az inverse. Okay, this is only true when the common ratio is less than 1. Okay, so common ratio az inverse is less than 1. So what we can conclude? Mod z should be greater than a. It means this summation is only exist when mod z is greater than a. Alternatively, what we can write after simplification? Z by z minus a is the Z transform of a to the power n un, where a to the power n un is a discrete sequence. The Z transform of a to the power n un is z by z minus a. ROC of this signal while performing Z transform, the ROC is mod z greater than mod a. Okay, so graphically we can say, see, this is a Z plane. Okay, so what I told you, actually Z is a nothing but a circle having arbitrary radius a. Okay, so mod z greater than a means the region of convergence is outside the circle. See here, the region of convergence is outside the circle having radius a. Okay, now I am going to a second example. Now this is the second example. Okay, so in this second example, let us take an sequence a to the power minus a to the power n u of minus n minus 1. Now see, un is what? This is a sequence, okay? It is exist for 0 1 2, okay? Now u of n minus 1, it means it is right shifted by 1 point, so it will only exist from 1 2 3 4 5, okay? U of minus n minus 1 means it is the mirror image with respect to y axis, okay? This signal, and mirror image with respect to y axis means this signal, okay? This thing I hope you already know. In signal system, from signal system you have already read this thing, so I am not discussing this thing, but ultimately u minus n minus 1 is look like this, okay? So it is a left sided sequence and it exists from minus 1 to minus infinite, okay? U of minus n minus 1 exists from minus 1 to minus infinite, okay? So the z transform of xn is xz is equal to, again I am writing the formula, n equal minus infinite to infinite xn z to the power minus n. Now in place of xn, what we can write? This thing we can write minus a to the power n u of minus n minus 1 z to the power minus n, and the limit is from minus infinite to infinite, okay? Now see, if as this sequence exists from minus 1 to minus infinite, so I am reducing the limit from n equal minus infinite to minus 1, and I am getting rid of this u minus n minus 1, okay? So ultimately I am writing n equal minus infinite to minus 1 minus a to the power n z to the power minus n. So I am taking minus out of this summation. After that, just put n equal to minus n. If you put n equal to minus n, your limit will become n equal 1 to infinite a to the power minus n z to the power n, okay? See, if you put n equal to minus n everywhere, what will happen? It will become 1, it will become infinite. You cannot write infinite to 1. It is very convenient to write 1 to infinite. That is why I have written n equal 1 to infinite and then a to the power minus n z to the power n, okay? So it can be write in this way: a inverse z to the power n summation of n equal 1 to infinite minus. So again it is a infinite GP series. If you expand this, you will get this thing. So minus, this is the first term, is a inverse z 1 minus common ratio a inverse z, okay? After simplification you will get z by z minus a. So the ROC is this common ratio must be less than 1, okay? So mod z less than a, okay? So here the ROC is mod z less than a inside a circle having radius a. The region of convergence is inside a circle having radius a, okay? So for any value of, for those value of z which are inside this circle, only for those value of z this summation will exist, okay? That is why this region is known as region of convergence, particularly for this z transform, okay? Now what are the conclusion we made from here, okay? This is very important. What are the conclusion? See, in my previous slide what I told you, the z transform of a to the power n un is z by z minus a, but the ROC is mod z greater than a. But the in here the z transform is for xn is equal to minus a to the power n u of minus n minus 1, the z transform is again z by z minus a, but the region of convergence is different, mod z less than a, okay? So see, in the conclusion, when xn is a to the power n un, this is the z transform. When xn is minus a to the power n u of minus n minus 1, this is the z transform. But see, in the previous case the ROC is mod z greater than a, here the ROC is mod z less than a. So from here can we conclude this is the region, this is the importance of the region of convergence, okay? See, z transform of two different signal is same, but the region of convergence is different, okay? That is why I told you, so without region of convergence you cannot perform z transform, because you can see for two different signal the z transform is same, z by z minus a, z by z minus a, but the ROC is different. Okay, if I am writing z by z minus a along with the ROC of z mod z greater than a, it means in discrete domain the signal is actually a to the power n un. If I am writing the z transform is z by z minus a with ROC mod z less than a, that means the mod z less than a, that means the discrete sequence is minus a to the power n u of minus n minus 1. So without ROC your z transform has no meaning. Okay, this is the case. Okay, and region of convergence means what? In the region of convergence, for all value of z in the region of convergence, your infinite GP series or your z transform exists. Okay, okay, this is another example. This is a discrete sequence, you can see. Now it will be easier for you to understand. See, fk is equal to, here I have taken k in place of n. Both k and n are same. Okay, both these are representing discrete sequence. Okay, so here see, fk is equal to a to the power k for k greater than equal to 0, b to the power k for k less than 0. Now find the z transform. Just blindly put the formula k equal minus infinite to infinite fk z to the power minus k. Now divide this, k equal to 0 to infinite minus infinite to minus 1. For 0 to infinite it is a to the power k, for minus infinite to minus 1 it is b to the power k. Okay, now 0 to infinite a to the power k z to the power minus k, it is okay as it is. Now the second thing, put k equal to minus k. What you will get? Same thing what I have discussed before, same thing, k equal 1 to infinite b to the power minus k z to the power k. Okay, so this is a infinite GP series, this is another infinite GP series. So this is a by 1 minus r where a is equal to 1. This is also a by 1 minus r where a is equal to b inverse z. Okay, this summation is exist. See, this summation is exist when common ratio az inverse is less than 1, that is mod z greater than a. This summation exists only when b inverse z, that is common ratio, is less than 1, that is mod z less than b. Okay, so for the existence of both this summation, your actual ROC or your resultant ROC is mod a less than z less than b. Okay, this is your resultant ROC. Okay, so it means what? Your ROC is actually an annulus region. See, this is having radius a and this having radius b, the outer circle having radius b and inner circle having radius a, and the region of convergence is in between the radius, in between the two circle of having radius a and radius b. This is the annular region. Any value of z inside that region or region of convergence, for any value of z, this z transform will exist. Okay, in the shaded region, only in the shaded region the z transform will exist. In previous case also, sorry, only in the shaded region this z transform will exist. Here also only in the shaded region this z transform will exist. Okay, so these are the formula of z transform. I'm discussing one by one. I will discuss one by one all this formula. Okay, and so as per this lecture, this is your homework. See guys, in my previous lecture, this is the first assignment I have given in my previous lecture, but there actually I have written t. Okay, but here t should be replaced by k. Okay, why? Because z transform, actually we perform z transform for discrete sequence and Laplace transform for continuous sequence. Okay, but actually I overlook this and I write t in place of k, but here if actually it should be k. Okay, these are the two questions that I am giving as per this lecture. Based on this lecture, if you find any difficulties, please comment below. Okay, I will try my best to solve your queries, and if you like our video, please share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.